Why don't you come on over here and sit down? I got to talk to you. It's hot. It's hot. It's cold. It's cold. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot.
It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot.
3, 2, 1. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man.
How's it going?
Good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. We're sitting here with John Robertson.
Jingleheimer. Yeah, John Robertson. Jason Allen Smith, because, Jason Smith is...
I'm glad that you jumped in there and made it very clear who we're...
He knows my name. I was just a little nervous that he might not.
Maybe that we broke the tension with the fake name.
That's right.
This is episode 3. So this is the unique early era of the dynasty that's beginning today.
Right on.
You get to tag it with your presence. Thanks, man.
Of course. How were the first two?
I thought quite well. Both guys I've known for a while and had good relationships with, and it was just kind of, this is conversational. This is fun, get to know each other, no agenda. Basically people that are full of themselves who want to hear themselves talk, right?
Like the host. Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I'm here.
That's
man.
Right. You've got a good radio voice. I'm like noticing that. Right
now.
Yeah, man.
I think you're turned on also.
I am.
Calm down, buddy.
I mean, the mic's on. That's what you meant.
Jason, one of the reasons for our listeners, I feel an acquaintance to you is you're married to one of my best friend's sister. And I can always say that I DDT'd your wife.
Right.
And for those who don't know what DDT is, it's a wrestling move.
Right.
That could sound bad.
There's some other connotations to it. But yeah, look it up.
By the way, I have something very special for you. I just wanted to...
You're going to DDT me?
Make sure that... are you ready? There it is. Oh! He got you back, bro.
Hey, wait. I'm going to get him here. Watch the go into the wall here. Watch this. Watch the movement here.
Ooh.
Hey. Right?
That was smart.
So, hey, behind the scenes, he's got a pad.
Is that good?
He's got a pad in his back. And he says to me, he played football in college, I think had an injury, and then started modeling internationally, going around and doing his thing, and then got into acting. That guy is a super hard worker as far as actors go, but he has this pad, starts just above his low back and goes up to right below his neck, and he says, "Dude, just drive me into that wall.
Nice.
Like crush me."
Okay.
So, which is cool.
Yeah. And again, just seeing the few clips, I pulled this up. So back up a step. That title has been in my phone since I think June of last year when you told me about it.
Right.
Or I asked her, somebody, we were talking about it.
Right.
And I wrote it down. I'm going to remember this.
Right.
And I was just thinking, let's pull this up. I think I still have this note in my phone, and I did. So
that's awesome.
And two, again, no disrespect, but I didn't have the greatest expectations just because Netflix movie that didn't make any headwaves, and I just thought, it's cool that you did it. But that was well done. I thought.
Thanks, man.
I thought there's nothing cheesy about it.
Thanks.
I kind of want to go back and find out the plot and watch it now.
It's it's fun. Those movies, just to jump into movies and kind of the different stuff and the hierarchy, if you will. So those movies get made by one company. Their name is Mar Vista. Mar Vista makes, maybe 100, 150 movies a year for Lifetime.
Okay.
So Lifetime, they don't have a ton of original programming, so they're constantly airing original Lifetime films. So the original Lifetime movies are made. There's a fixed budget. They have a group of producers that they go out to. Those producers make maybe 6, 8, 10 movies a year for them. So they have a bunch of those guys.
Are they in L.A.?
Mar Vista's in Florida.
Where did you shoot?
That was shot in Massachusetts.
Nice.
So it really depends on the
Sure.
producer, wherever they want to do it, wherever they find their location, where they get a good tax incentive, where they get a good crew. And there's that whole world, man, like finding a good crew, good gear, like
Yeah.
getting your gear there, having
Wow.
access to that gear, having access to a crew for a period of time, having a tax incentive that you can possibly monetize later and make something back.
So that's why LA is LA, because you've got that routine
Infrastructure.
gear, infrastructure, ready to roll.
Studios. I mean, right now, so say Grand Prairie had this awesome sound stage that
Yeah.
was, 200,000 square feet of sound stage.
Yeah.
That'd become attractive, right? Because you could build sets
Right.
inside. Everything's indoors. I mean, you look at
Have we talked about this? I feel like I've talked to you about this, about
Wanting?
having some type of, I mean, the way DFW is growing, that's going to be an attraction of producing content, whatever that may be.
Yeah, I mean, GP is actually a good spot for it too, right in the middle. And
Yeah.
I mean, they make movies in Austin. You guys have a new tax incentive structure that I think just opened up some dollars. I mean,
Okay.
there's a decent cap on it, and I think it'd be great for Grand Prairie to do it.
Well, like everything else, it's not as centrally located. It seems like LA was the place you produced, and maybe it still is to a certain extent, but it seems like that's not the only option now.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm here to, we're talking about movies. I'll dispel any of the like beliefs about any of that stuff, because I am like probably to my own demise. I've never truly like played the games properly as far as that world goes, right?
You didn't sleep with Harvey Weinstein?
I did that. Yeah, I did that. But that wasn't the right move at that time for me. Apparently, it didn't work out.
Sorry, that's not fun.
But there were opportunities to sleep with men and women that probably could have leveraged me in a different way that
Wow.
I didn't take,
Sure.
which is interesting. But so most of my work, minus the commercial work, because they still make the bulk of the commercials in Los Angeles.
Right. Okay.
Minus that, the bulk of my work has come in the last 5-6 years has come regionally. So I had an agent in Atlanta, and that agent would get me opportunities in the Carolinas,
Yeah.
sometimes Texas,
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Potentially, if we have some type of infrastructure here in Texas, you could continue doing some of that.
Totally. And there
Yeah.
are some movies, there are some commercials and stuff, and I
Yeah.
honestly need to get a local agent that I can have a real relationship with.
I imagine, one, it's fun, and two, it kind of expands what you're doing anyway.
It does, man. I mean, if once again, full disclosure, like it's great for the other business because people are interested in it. And
Yeah.
it gives you something to talk about, and it's exciting for them to talk about it and kind of break down any thoughts they may have about it. But for me, it was never this acting thing. I'm going to go out and be a movie star, and I'm just going to whatever, and it's easy. And,
Sure.
I attacked it sort of like I did athletics or education, and just total immersion, working my butt off, pissed when I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Working out too much, going from like, I was 240 pounds in college playing football, and I went to 175 pounds by starving and running too much, just to try to fit in and like make a go of it. So, like for me, it makes me a better, I'm going to get philosophical here. It makes me a better dad. It makes me a better husband.
Yeah.
It makes me a better friend. It makes me a better human being. Why? Because I get to take all of the Jason voices, all that stuff that's in all of our heads.
Yes, sir.
You're not doing this well enough. You're not this. What about this? What are you doing? All of that stuff that's just me-centric stuff. And I get to just quiet that voice, and I get to look at someone else's concerns for a minute, just from that position. Like, what is it to be a single dad that doesn't know where the next meal is going to come from for my kid, and my car just broke down, and I don't know how I'm going to get back to the house. Am I going to have to carry my? What is that? What's the next thought after that?
Wow.
And so then you take that position. If you spend some time with it, right? So if you get a part, or even if you get a chance at a part,
Yeah.
if you spend enough time with it to be worthy of getting that part, to living that life, well, then next time I see that guy broken down on the side of the street, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at him going, oh man, I don't know, but I kind of know what that's like. You want to help.
You're picking up a feeling.
You start to look at, and it also changes the way in this world, got to take care of mine. Everybody else is other. The other, it's them, not me.
Yeah.
I don't deal with that. Well, if you take yourself and go as far beyond what you are as you possibly can, and then look at the world under these conditions. These are the circumstances dealing with this problem.
Yeah.
Man, it just changes. It changes everything.
So I think I'm glad you said all that, and that's part of what I admire about you, what I've grown to admire about you. I think I'm similar in that aspect. That's just my 2 cents talking about myself. But with you, I can actually talk about it a little bit because I've watched a little bit. So I think when you guys were in LA, were you and Carly together when she did SoCal Hearts?
Yes.
Okay. Believe it or not, that really sticks out to me. I think that's common. I used to think everybody did that, and I realized that's really not as common. Just doing the nonprofit, doing the giving back.
Yeah.
And as you've done Firehouse Grand Prairie, Firehouse Gastro Park, I've definitely noticed this is not a Jason Smith, look what I can do type thing.
Right.
And the other thing is, let's see, so model, actor, entrepreneur, father, there's multiple titles there, right? That you're giving back and producing. I don't know if you noticed, my acronym for this show is the LITE, L-I-T-E, learn, inspire, teach, entertain.
Cool.
And I feel like I just came up with that. I don't know if that's corny or not, but I hope that's a...
Yeah, I think I've always noticed that you're not, to try to put one sentence down about you as a guy, and I know you're not asking me to talk about you, but I'm going to, would be really difficult, because I think you do think about others, and you're always thinking, and you're always asking questions about people, and you're asking questions about their lives and their friends and their desires, and it's always a little skewed, interestingly enough, like where I'm like, what question did you just ask me? I'm like, random question, which I love about you. My wife is a much better person than I am. And also I'd fallen into, I was in Los Angeles for 20 years and my wife was there for 13.
Well, I didn't know that. 20 years.
20 years. And I'm 43.
Gosh,
so
she was there for 13.
She was there for 13 years. And we weren't together for a good chunk of that.
She was married.
She was married. Yeah. We got together for about, let's call it like 5 or 6. Let's call it 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 years of that. So when she and I met, she was talking about SoCal Hearts, and she brought up to some friends, she was like, why do we have to be famous and where we want to be in our careers to have a charity that changes lives, that helps people? Let's do it now. So she'd started that, and she would ask me, and I think, honestly, if I'm being truthful, I would say my response was like, nah, I don't really get involved in that kind of stuff. Nah,
I'm good.
Right? And so then we got together, and then I was all about it, right?
You got to impress her.
Right. So then I was
Good
like,
job.
I'm finding ways to raise money for the charity and help, and in that role, and then started getting involved with the kids. It changed my life. So my wife changed my life. My wife showed me the light. I went to church, considered myself a good Christian boy out there, but I was doing what was self-serving, right?
Absolutely.
And that, she opened my eyes to that, where that philanthropic side and what can we do for other people.
Well, I feel like that's filled you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
So quickly, one of the things that I was pointing out there is that the multiple approaches, which all help each other out. So There's a restaurant, there's a catering business, there's
Right.
the modeling, the acting, and all those combine. You're not just one individual thing. I think it's impressive to do multiple things. Let them go, do something else, then go back to that thing, make sure it's good.
Yeah.
Do something else, and you kind of get these things, and they all intermix and help each other out. And when you apply the service above self or the giving back aspect of it, you just grow your notoriety.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, you know, people come into the restaurant, we worked hard to design that thing. We want people to like it. We're proud of the food. We're proud of the drinks. We're proud of all that stuff. But if you let it, I mean, this is the challenge, right? If you let it be too personal, everyone has their own taste. Everyone has their own experience. Everyone has their morning. Like, I had a crappy morning, Jason.
Yeah.
Like, your coffee, I don't really care.
I don't
you
care.
know, like, this sucks today because I had a crappy morning. Well,
Yeah.
you have to acknowledge that and not take it so personally. And I'm learning that. And my wife helps me to learn that. But also just
Good.
being there and being available to people and being present and trying to give some love and also make it okay for anybody to come in with a charitable idea or to use it as a place like a meeting hall, you know, that you can eat and drink.
So a quick unsolicited advice is you got a great place there. I love when you and Carly are there.
Right.
Axel's over here shaking his head and getting excited.
I've been there only once, but it's a fantastic place to be in. Just the energy is super positive and super nice. Like, everyone is fantastic there.
Thanks, man.
And I think I've seen you before there. Like, you came in and asked me, like, hey, how's the food? You like everything?
Right.
Okay. So that's where I was going.
I loved it, man. That's
Thank you,
great.
man.
Yeah.
That's what I was going, was that when you are there, I feel the plate. Your restaurant is better.
Right.
Now, you also includes Carly.
Right.
Not together, but I mean, if you're not there, if Carly's there. And I'll definitely Aaron.
Right.
And Aaron carries that same responsibility that you carry. If it's not just the attitude, it's a responsibility of, this is my place.
Right.
And so there's this fear of, like, hey, I got this running. They're going to run it. They're going to run this. I go do something else. It's your place.
Right.
I mean, it's for now anyway.
Yeah.
And I encourage you to just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
As you do things. So outside of that, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So Louisiana, is that's where you're from?
Right.
Okay. And you went to college, and let me guess, Indiana, Vanderbilt.
So I went to Vanderbilt. That's Nashville.
So Vanderbilt is in Nashville.
Nashville.
Okay.
SEC school, and then transferred to Cal Berkeley.
Berkeley.
The Bay Area, so Berkeley's.
And in that time, you were playing sports?
I was playing football.
At Vanderbilt?
At Vanderbilt and Cal.
And Cal Berkeley.
And transferred under, so, you know, you see how these kids are graduate transfers now, and they don't lose a year. They can go take another year. I wasn't a graduate transfer. I was a undergrad transfer, lost a season.
Oh, man.
And so you sit out, and then, but.
What did you play?
I played middle linebacker, man. I was
Nice.
60 full pounds bigger.
Well, that's what I'd say. I mean, 60-pound
Different.
difference that I could understand, but
It's huge.
how was that?
That was amazing. I mean, you know, I grew up in a household where football was king for my dad.
Yeah.
And I love my dad, and I love what that taught me. I love what football taught me, and I love the relationship that we had
Hard
through
work,
football.
discipline.
100%. More than anything, pleasing him and being a great football player that we got to work on together, and being a really hard worker was what, like, can I do it? Can I accomplish it? That's what all of it, like, boils down to for me. Would I say that I'm a guy that, like, is going to wake up in the middle of the night wanting to go watch game tapes or something? Do I even watch football now? No.
Yeah.
Did I love playing? Yes. So it's a weird thing for me. Like, I loved playing the game. Did I want or care about it on, like, this is my life?
Right.
No. So there was that. And then that whole transfer process was incredible, because Vanderbilt was the most conservative school in the country at that point.
Okay.
In Nashville, high net worth families, private school in the SEC. So you're playing against the teams that I grew up with, because I grew up in Louisiana. I went to LSU football games, right? So I'm in that conference. I'm getting to play against those guys.
Jeez.
And but
hard hitters.
It's hard hitters. But there's a ton of smart guys. I mean, there'd be consensus All-Americans that are working at Fortune 500 companies during the summer. I mean, those guys were amazing. And then transferring to Cal, where I went on a visit. I had one official visit left. I told Vanderbilt I wanted to be eligible to transfer. They said, okay. The coach I'd been speaking to already said, great, we'll fly you out. So on a weekend from Vanderbilt, while I'm in school, I fly to California. I go.
I mean, Cal Berkeley, come on.
Right. I get picked up at the Oakland airport. They drive me through. It's nighttime. I'm seeing the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm like, what is that? I've never been to California before. I'm a Louisiana boy. I don't know anything about this.
Fell in love.
I fell in love. It was incredible. The next day I saw how edgy Berkeley was, but also how beautiful it was. And it was just like, it was something I needed to do. And I was a dramatic arts minor at Vanderbilt and knew that I wanted to become a dramatic arts major at Cal and then minor in business. And so that was the transition. It was just...
So I went to school for 5 years, and I started my business, college for 5 years, started my insurance business. I did not have a high enough GPA. I needed to raise my GPA to graduate, so I took an insurance class. I'm a business management major, right? And so I take an insurance class. I just
randomly.
Well, no. Let me back up. I'd already started my business. I aced my insurance licensing exam. Okay, so my business has started. And I'm 6 months into my business. I'm trying to raise my GPA to get my degree. Well, I made a C in the insurance class. Okay, so
how was it? Was it a valuable class? I mean, do you remember learning a bunch?
Anything
Nothing,
about it.
Nothing.
Again, I just aced my insurance licensing exam.
Right.
So I had studied the whole state exam manual on my own.
Right.
I said, look, I got my own business started. I don't need to show my degree to a potential employer.
Right.
I am my own employer, so I quit going. Since then, I went back, and I have. They said they looked at my transcript and they go, "You qualify for a business management degree," and I said, "Really?" So, but I was
what?
Yeah. So they were like basically going to give it to me. This was about 2 or 3 years ago, but going back, I'm working on a Spanish, Spanish literacy degree. So if I got the management degree, I'd have to take more classes for the Spanish degree. So I'm just going to wait. I'll go back again and get the Spanish degree and business as a double major. I say all that. Did you finish? Did you finish with your degree?
I did.
And what was that?
Dramatic arts. It's
Dramatic
a bachelor
arts.
of arts. Yeah.
So does that kind of like lead you straight into trying to act? I mean, does that help you as you're doing things, or are you just learning how to act it?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. You know now, thinking about it. What did I study? How's it valuable? Why is it valuable? I mean, and it leads me to having a 4-year-old and not knowing if I wanted to go to college. You know what I mean? Like, what's the debt going to look like there? And then I was able to come out of college debt free. I mean, I had some credit card, like a couple grand.
Sure.
I mean, so why Spanish, by the way? Are you wanting to just...
Puedo hablar ahorita, tengo clientes que habla español.
See?
No, Austin Insurance.
Just for application.
Yeah, Austin Insurance here in Grand Prairie, from day one, I've had a Spanish speaker here. And at some point, I decided I probably need to learn this. And we didn't get too far off subject, but I went to Costa Rica for
church.
No, this was on my own. 5-week immersion. Lived with the Costa Rican family. Had so much fun and learned so much. I went back that summer for 2 months.
Oh, cool.
And I was still pretty bad at Spanish, but I had got over the hump.
You had a great tan.
Yeah. I came back with something. No. And so I started applying it here in the office. And so I'm definitely not fluent, and I'm still going to be learning some more. But
so the structure of the school will make you'll have to get it.
You have to, yeah. And I'm this. So you said church. The last 2 years I've gone to Guatemala on mission trips. Mm-hmm. And this summer, I'm going to go 2 weeks early and hang out with our pastor down there. PJ, he's a cool dude. He actually grew up here.
Oh, cool.
He was an orphan, was adopted here, went back. He married a white girl, so he's just as cool and goofy as anybody else. And but anyway, I can stay with him. He's going to teach me. So that was off subject a little bit, but you go to school. You think I'm interested in this. It boils down to this is fun because it makes me really think about why you do things in life, right? Motivation for obedience.
Yeah,
motivation.
Yeah. And one moment, right? So I'm trying to be a minor at Vanderbilt. I go into this. I'd done a couple plays in high school, and I could come out and be entertaining and sing and dance and do whatever and be a ham because I'd done that just in life. Well, so I got away with that in high school theater. So I'm at Vanderbilt and I'm trying to get into a class, but it's not quite time to get into a class. And I see that there's a play. It's like Taming of the Shrew or something. I've got zero depth when it comes to Shakespeare. First of all, the language.
Sure.
Secondly, these are kids that have been in 100 plays and they're in college now. These kids they're seasoned. I go and I audition. And it's hilarious. Me, the actor there, was hilarious thinking back. I mean, but I just go for it, right? Because I got no fear. Well, the teacher says, "Hey, listen, you're not going to get cast in this play."
Okay.
I'm like, okay. But he goes, "But you've got something.
Nice.
Come take my class next semester. Come take this class." And I'm like, that moment, you've got something.
Yeah.
Leads me to take the class.
Yeah.
Breakthroughs in the class. That class gives me the confidence. Then when I go to Cal, I want to be a major because I know that this feels different to me. And it feels right. I was a dyslexic kid growing up.
Sure.
School wasn't the easiest. Trying to find something I was interested in that I was good at was hard.
Yeah.
Thought I wanted to be in law enforcement. Thought I wanted to be an FBI agent. I'd shadowed FBI agents.
Really?
I'd done ride-alongs in Nashville, all of that stuff, and I just none of it was resonating with me. And then I go to Cal and I audition with something that I'd learned at Vanderbilt, and I get into this cool class, and it just starts to grow and change. And
do you talk with Chief Dede very much?
I do.
Okay.
I mean,
You're familiar with him, yeah, because both of his daughters went to the FBI school. And he's got all the contacts, and that just that aligns right along with who he is and what he does. Yeah, interesting character. By the way.
It is. I mean, it's fascinating. I just found out that there's a guy I played that I knew from the high school all-star game who was an LSU defensive end who's a big. I mean, I say a big. I'm sure all agents are the same, but he's head of some task force.
Oh, okay.
In Texas. That I was just looking him up. I was like, I wonder how he is.
Dede had his retirement, and a lot of law folks from everywhere, state, county, federal. I mean, all of them the same almost. I bet you he'd know your guy.
Probably knows him.
Hey, so we go from football into acting. Acting and modeling is probably pretty similar. So you're just kind of
the modeling stuff. That happened here and there. Like if someone asked me to, I never.
Yeah.
Thought about it, didn't know anything about it. But
I got asked to model every other day for something.
You probably still do.
Yeah, it was like a STD
underwear,
awareness.
Yeah,
STD
underwear,
awareness.
Chest hair.
Whoa. Friends. Joey got the part for. This,
that's right.
And then he didn't know it was.
This is the face of herpes.
Face of herpes.
Or is this the face of? I never forget, but. He was happy.
So it was more acting here and there than modeling then, or was modeling more?
Yeah, modeling rarely happened. Commercials are weird, man. You go in, they give you some copy, you read it, you get called for a callback, then you get put on what they call an avail.
Yeah.
Sometimes a second avail. So when you get put on an avail, it's down to you and like 2 or 3 other guys.
Yeah.
And then you just go like this. Because when I got there, the stories of $100,000 commercials were still happening. There was a guy I know that He was the voice of Budweiser. He'd made over $1 million as the
Wow.
voice of Budweiser. So there's real commercial money.
You find the right niche.
The
you
right
know.
niche, man. And it changed over time. It became like the quirkier guys. You started seeing real quirky guys with hot chicks. Like that was the kind of thing. But I would always get down to the wire and almost get one. Then I got a Chevy one, and then I got another.
I saw your Dr. Pepper.
I got
that was
Dr.
more
Pepper.
recent though, right?
That was more recent. That was when you decide you're going to leave LA. You book everything.
Can Axel Google Jason Smith Dr. Pepper commercial and something come up?
You would
You
probably
think?
put Diet Dr. Pepper,
Diet. And then
Bachelorette. Or
what do you think about? I can pop video in because this is also videoed. Would Netflix allow me to do that? If I put
Yeah, I
a
think
5-second
you're- I
clip
think you're
of
fine. Yeah, I think you're
Killer
fine.
Cove,
I don't think they're
Axel felt uncomfortable about it, but
Yeah,
You know
to
what
me,
you
it was-
could put is Diane, which is on.
well, I was trying to look that one up too. That's the two I have.
That one is. So actually, scroll down if you're looking for this one. Let's see. It's that one right there, bridal shower. That's the
Bridal
one.
shower commercial, 30 seconds.
Oh, this is someone that shot it. So I come in at the end, which is great.
Oh, it's a shot of the
someone's
show.
Beautiful
shooting
bridal
this
shower
shoot it,
for
shot.
your friend. You deserve the sweet one, the Diet Dr. Pepper.
That is sweet. Is that the entertainment?
Did someone call the cops? Should I go?
Yes.
Diet Dr. Pepper.
So man, that
Good
kind of
job,
stuff.
dude.
Thanks, man. That kind of stuff is it's so impactful for you as a human being because you make enough money to then get insurance and then have a kid, right? So think about it. That insurance is Blue Cross Blue Shield platinum level, and it's $460 for the whole family 4
Wow.
times a year.
Oh wow! Is that because of your affiliation with a?
That's with the Screen Actors Guild.
Screen Actors
right.
Guild.
So Screen Actors Guild has like if you make this amount of money, you get this plan. You can
Yeah.
get this plan. If you make this amount of money, you can get this plan. And I've had it, on and off that whole time. And years you'd make enough, years you don't make enough. But man, it changed everything. We paid nothing for Peyton to be born.
Wow.
We were on that insurance until recently, and
Yeah.
it goes in years, which is kind of a weird. It's kind of a weird flawed
God, it
system.
seems
because
like it's worth picking up a few gigs just to stay.
if you
in.
can, yeah, or get somebody to like hire you and
Yeah.
give them $1,000 to hire you and
Yeah.
give you the money and you give it back.
Right. It's a lot cheaper than.
Right.
Sorry that that's an issue, man. I mean,
Well, yeah,
not to you directly, but to everybody. Just
everybody,
It's
yeah.
just tough, man.
Yeah.
So I pay like $260, right? But first of all, it's nothing.
Right.
I mean, it's like a $7,500 deductible, and then it doesn't even have a max. Like
Right.
it's just a percentage at some point,
Right.
right? But I haven't been to the doctor in 7 or 8 years.
Right.
But the other day, well, for years my jaws popped, and the other day it was starting to like hurt, and so I went to the doctor, and there's just all these different things that they want to go over and review, and you're like starting to get nervous, like
You're like, I haven't done any of that.
well, I was more concerned about what is this going to be? Do I have cancer in my jaw? And now I
Right.
have the cheapest insurance policy because it's so expensive. I didn't want to pay so much. Now I'm going to have to deal with all these medical bills. Anyway, it ended up nothing. They actually took Advil and it alleviated a lot of it.
Right.
It still pops a little bit. So I'm going to go see a specialist just to make sure. But point is, you start really
Yeah.
diving into that deal, like health insurance. I
Yeah.
don't want to go to the doctor, man. I'm
know.
going to run out of money.
Right. Yeah.
That's unfortunate,
It's
man.
terrifying.
So, and a lot of people are that way. They'd rather just deal with it than go to the doctor. When
Right.
it'd be better to go deal with it early on.
But
So
you were
you're-
asking about licensing. You're probably fine to do something from Diane because we're producers on that and own part of that movie. So I
Spend
could
a
say-
second, Diane movie, right? My
Yeah, you
AV,
can find Diane on. You can find the trailer on
YouTube.
On
Probably?
YouTube, and that's also.
Are you on the
like-
trailer?
I am, and
Cool.
so Carly and I are the leads of that movie.
Oh, Carly's in it too.
You got to see that one.
Great.
So Carly and I got an opportunity to work with my favorite director, who's a really good buddy.
Kent.
So scroll down. There's two Dianes. Actually, they both came out in the same time.
No
Now,
way.
see that? Let me see. If you scroll down, I don't know if that's the 24,000. Yeah, Diane Fright Fest horror. Maybe
That's it? Yeah, that was you.
So that movie is little tiny movie. Takes place in one house, pretty much. Carly's a singer. I'm a vet.
That's her. That's
her.
Carly.
Yep.
Yeah. Even in the distorted.
I'm a vet that lives a pretty solitary life. No family, no friends. Work on little motors, get disability because I had an injury. And then I wake up one morning going through my ritual and I find a dead body in my backyard. And it's Carly. So then everything's told, trying to figure out
What happened?
what happened.
No way. That sounds pretty cool.
I kind of fall in love with the dead body, really not like
Yeah.
in that way, but
Yeah.
what if?
Good.
That movie's made for less than $100,000, which, as you know, you've got nice equipment in here. You know how quickly $100,000 could go.
Yeah.
Trying to tell a whole story that's that many days, right? Mike, did an amazing job with it. Took a ton of time in post production. We were there doing 16 to 18-hour days. We were there for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Carly and I sleeping in the same bed, shooting this movie in Connecticut, and
Well, y'all were married at this time, right?
yes, we were married, but it, not touching each other. But it was an amazing experience. The movie got really great critical acclaim. It got into some good festivals, and then it ended up with the way Rotten Tomatoes work.
Yeah.
It means that these people reviewed it.
Yeah.
It's hard to get those people to review it. You got to be at the right spot at the right time. We got the right spot at the right time, so it got an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. It got a good distribution, and
I'm not a big movie guy. I mean, I am. I just hadn't watched a lot in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I had not heard of that.
Right.
I wouldn't have heard of
Is
it.
that me? Look at me, man.
Come on, bro.
Sorry, bro.
God. But it looks like a good movie, and it looks
It's fun, and it's an indie. It's like a true indie. It's gonna feel. It doesn't feel like a big movie. It doesn't feel like
production.
big TV, right? But it feels good enough that it's not distracting.
Well, I hope don't take this the wrong way, but I definitely had lesser thoughts of the movies that you were produced. I know that's hard to say that and not take offense to it, but and not that I had any lack of respect. It was just that, if it's not on the big screen, right? If I didn't see it, the major trailer, if it's not the second coming of Top Gun,
right?
June 26th,
I will be there.
Yeah.
Dude, Top Gun, huge part of my life. My dad was a fighter pilot.
No way, I didn't know that.
When I saw Top Gun, I'm like, it's my favorite movie. I mean, it is.
You could pull that with the aviators.
I would do anything Tom Cruise told me to. He's definitely like a hero. But and with all the silliness aside, I've worked, and Carly's worked. Carly was a regular on Veronica Mars. I've done, I don't know, maybe like 20 different television shows where you're a day player, you're a guest star, or you work for a week. And I always tell the story like this parlays into hard work, in my opinion, and also zero hierarchy. You can't have a hierarchy. We got musicians that work with us over at Firehouse. They'd rather be playing music and making $300 that night, or $200, or $150 and some tips, than they would be working at the coffee shop, or working passing food out, or working behind the bar. But for years, I learned the lesson. I book a job. Hey, you're going to get to fly to Bulgaria. I've never been outside the country. Oh, I'm flying first class to Bulgaria?
Yeah.
And guess what? Because they're excited about you and your manager asked for it, they're going to pay for an extra week for you to go to Rome afterwards and hang out by yourself and do something. Who gets that? But then when I get back, nobody cares.
Yeah.
You're not Tom Cruise. You're just back to work, whatever that other job was, to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Right? And that's
so I'm seeing you're telling me that, there's an appearance of some of these lower budget, smaller deals are kind of like, that's stupid. Why would you do that?
And
type
some
thing.
of them are.
And some of them, quite
Right.
are. But the reality of it is, that's the grind.
That's the grind. And if you get with the right people,
And some of those grinds are awesome, by
Right.
the way.
yeah.
And some of them may suck.
Yeah, some of them become the next big thing. Some of them become
Yeah.
Blair Witch, right? And it's like the
Right.
biggest thing in the world, right?
Yeah.
Some of them become the next indie director, and the right person sees it. Just like even this little 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, what did that do? We're going to go do a movie 2 months from now with that same director. Well, the budget's much bigger. It's not
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah.
But it's maybe 5 times the amount of that budget. Why?
That's great.
Because he did a good job. People liked it. It got good critical acclaim. Someone can trust him with the money and say, okay, you're going to do a great
Yeah.
job. You're going to put in effort. I always give the lesson. I don't think that, like I said, I'm 43. I'm talking to kids that are in their 20s or in their teens. And I'm saying, listen, eliminate the hierarchies in your life.
Yeah.
I have had a car pick me up that's a town car to take me to the airport to fly first class to JFK, where another guy's going, Mr. Smith, with his little card.
Yeah.
And they take me to the Ritz, and I stay at the Ritz. There's a spyglass in my room looking at the park.
Yeah.
The Ritz on the park. What?
Wow.
Oh, that's Central Park. What the heck? Oh, Mr. Smith, knock, knock, knock. Hey, it's time for you to try on these Hugo Boss suits you'll be wearing in
No
the
way.
show. Oh, of course, I'm playing the part, whatever. The end of that show, I
Right
go back to the airport. The car picks you up and takes you to your crappy apartment in Hollywood that you can barely pay the rent on.
Yeah.
And you're catering 3 days later or a day later or later that day that you arrived. And if you go into the catering, I just got back from New York working on the Bruckheimer TV show,
Dude.
then where are you, man? You're going to give shitty service. Oh, can I say shitty?
Yeah, you're good.
You're going to give crappy service. You're going to have a bad attitude. And I've been there because I've been on both sides of it, of being that guy or not being that guy, and then seeing it in others. Or you can be like, cool, man, that was great. I'm a cater waiter today.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine owns a catering company and is a hell of a businessman. He said, if Tom Cruise was here today, he'd be the best damn bartender or cater waiter at the party. Why? Because he works hard. Mm-hmm. He cares about every single thing he does, right?
So I'm glad you say that. What I work with a lot of kids, and I think, forget the kids in my experience, Ashton Kutcher did that on the MTV Music Awards recently. He said, he'd had a job sweeping floors at a restaurant, and he said what he saw that was opportunity.
Right.
He said opportunity for your next job. So I tell kids all the time, one, the best way to be good at your job is to do what your boss says.
Right.
Just and then the example of what hard work gets you. Whenever the boss is looking to hire somebody, and they look at those 5 guys that works for them, and 4 of them are bitching and complaining about whatever, and one of them is doing everything they say, who's going to get hired? Who's going to make more money? Who's going to be more successful? It's simple. That's not complicated process.
It seems like it is. It's lost on people though, right? Just have a motor, man. Like when I look around, there could be a person that I've had to tell the same thing to 50 times when it comes to a process. Like, how do you ring this up?
Yeah.
But then I watch that guy or girl cleaning tables like a beast.
Yeah.
Just killing it. Cleaning up, asking people they need something. They just became like top 3 employees. I don't care. I'll teach you the POS again.
Yeah.
You can ask me every day, but you're working that hard. Like, I just love that. Now, and maybe there's part of me that's like fighting against something in, here's an epiphany here at your show. Yes. In acting, you do it, you tell stories because it's who you are and you love it and you can't do anything else but have that part of your life, right? You could do other things, but you can't have no choice. You want to tell stories. You want to write. If you're a writer, you write. If you're a singer, you sing. Sure. Wherever it is, however it is, right? But there is no equation in acting to working really hard and getting the career. There's too much luck and there's too many opinions.
Yeah, I agree.
So in every other part of your life, there really is. If you work really, really hard, you can get somewhere. So,
Yeah, that's can't be preached enough to, and I hope people understand that and hear that. How do you get out of your situation? You work your way out,
just
right?
work your way out.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I don't like talking about myself. Show is not the intention, but I'm a business owner, councilman, whatever. I mean, I worked at the car wash down the street,
right.
Buffing cars,
right.
For 2 summers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I walked
and DDT and my wife at
yeah.
night. You know?
Boom. Dude, Sundays,
Yeah.
pay-per-view wrestling.
Yeah.
We'd get wild.
Oh my God.
Diane,
she loved
and
it. She's
Diane,
like, I got to be one of the boys.
Diane and Joe would order 5 pizzas,
Right.
and we'd just like throw it down. I walked the stands at the ballpark in Arlington selling hot dogs. I had a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend that like I hadn't seen in years, and she was in the stands. And it was almost embarrassing because I'm proud of that now. But at that age, she's at the baseball game enjoying it with her friends, and I'm up there hawking dogs.
Right.
Point is, from day one, you just go to work, make a couple dollars. The people I've met through those years alone is well worth it. The connections I'll run into at some random Joe. Dude, I worked with you at the car wash when I was 16. Do you remember? And you got connections.
Right.
So everything is a benefit.
Everything is.
From putting your head down and working a little bit. And I actually fear success sometimes, because is there going to be a point where I got enough money or I've done enough things to where I'm not going to be driven to work hard?
Right. And relevant as like a person functioning in society and doing stuff like employing people. I mean, you employ people.
Yeah.
You're their boss. Like
so what
that's
do you
how
do?
they live. You know, it's crazy, right? I mean,
potentially, I guess you give them more money, but then now you need to work more. And it's
right.
Just, okay. So, acting got you meeting Carly.
We met in catering.
In catering.
We met in catering,
Okay.
and she was acting. I was acting. Carly you should have her on the show at some point.
Well, I fully intend to. The intention is you, then her.
That's awesome.
And then y'all together.
Oh, that'd be great.
So that'd be 3 total.
Yeah, I'll brag about her too, because I mean, she was cast as. She has some crazy stories of being cast as the lead, as the regular. She shot for 2 weeks for Blumhouse had just done Paranormal Activity 1. They were doing 2. She got cast as one of the mains, and I mean, talking like residual income on that thing for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Shoots for 2 weeks, and the studio says she's just reading way too young.
No way. Cut her.
They got rid of her. They replaced her with someone else.
Wow.
Not her work. Doesn't matter how good she was.
Yeah.
It's just not, it's all that routine. Like,
that's tough,
he
man.
looks like my cousin a little bit. Let's not cast him.
Well, one simple thing is all it takes, right?
Thing. Well, you know how we are, all opinions.
So catering was a job, or tell me how catering and then Mama's Medicine.
Right.
Tell me where that.
Yeah. So catering started.
By the way, Mama's Medicine is at Grand Prairie Gastro Park.
Yeah.
Firehouse Gastro Park. It's the bar portion of this downtown restaurant we have.
Yeah, I'll give you the little Mama's overview. So we start off. I'm personal training people, like for $1, acting, whatever. Someone says go, you should go cater on the weekends. I'm like, well, sure, I cater.
Give
in
me
high
$1,
school.
I'll do it. Right?
Yeah, I'll do it. So I go into this guy's office.
I got rent to pay.
Right, absolutely. He's slick. He's got nice, pretty assistants and stuff. They hire me. I work that day. I tell them I can bartend. I don't know how to bartend. I'm like calling my sister. She's a bartender. I'm like, how do you make a sea breeze? She's like, sea grapefruit. Remember, sea grapefruit. There's grapefruit in it. I'm like, what is that? What else is in it? And so I start working with that guy. Years later, I'm managing events for them. Carly's one of the servers that comes in that's working with me there, but I'm the captain almost for everything. Like everything they have going on. We do $1 million parties. $1 million.
You almost immediately went to his number one guy, it sounds like.
I rose really quickly, and I think just because I wasn't afraid. I didn't know anything.
What were we talking about a while ago? Because we worked hard and cared.
Yeah, work hard and care. He saw that ethic, and I went and grabbed a book at the library to read about service.
Nice.
Because I didn't know anything about, like, what am I supposed to do, like French-style service. And then Carly becomes a captain. We're always friends, right? Yeah. And you know, you flirt and stuff, but I was with someone, she was with somebody, and
Yeah.
we're all friends. And that group of people, honestly, some of the best friends I've ever
Good.
had in my life.
Isn't that
Those
cool?
girls, yeah, and they were all, they're in their 30s, and I'm in my 40s now, so they were all probably 8 to 10 years younger than me, but all of them are my best friends, and they all had shared that same work ethic, that same drive,
Yeah.
and that same just attitude. Let's get through the event. Let's all be inspired by one another. Let's rock and roll. So Carly and I are friends through that. One of my other buddies that I met at that company, Carly and I start a company called Alchemy. It's an event company. We're going to do event planning and some small catering. So we remotely do caterings for like some really cool weddings, some really crazy weddings, and we
Yeah.
make a nice bit of income. This is obviously after Carly and I got together. We make some nice income on that. And we decided that we're looking at it, and the cocktail game was kind of lacking when it came to the event side of things. They have good cocktail bars, but they didn't have great outside of the bar cocktails at
Okay.
events, especially weddings. So we
Outside
started
of your glass of wine and a beer.
Totally.
You're talking about like a
Right.
real.
vodka sodas
Yeah.
and an occasional old fashioned was what you could get at a bar
Yeah.
at an event. And so we start to talk to a friend of ours, and he comes in, and it becomes a subsidiary of Alchemy, which is Mama's Medicine.
Yeah.
And we start going out and trying to get these clients. Well, we don't have a liquor license, so we can consult. So at events with ABC there, you can't bring the alcohol to the game. The client has to bring it, and you can make it into something
Okay.
special.
Okay.
So we grow, and we start to get some real clients, and we get Christina Aguilera, and we get a company called Revolve, which is $1 billion online clothing company. So
Wow.
we start doing these really cool clients. We get this book of business that becomes pitchable, right? So I can
Yeah.
go out and kind of say, hey, these are our clients. Here's what we're doing off the record. This is why we matter. Here's our drinks. Try them. We start to grow. So then we break off from Alchemy, and me and Gio, just because of the dilution, we lose Carly in that, and
Okay.
it becomes me, Gio, and another guy, the guy that's introduced me to catering, the guy that owned
Okay,
that company.
okay, yeah.
He becomes our liquor license. So now
Very
we can
cool.
pull a permit. Now we can show up with the alcohol.
Yeah.
And then the business started to grow because we could pitch on bigger things and legally be able to do them. So we grew that business, and then when the opportunity with Firehouse Gastro Park, when the city put out an RFP, the opportunity was there to expand Mama's Medicine here. So it's still in LA,
So
doing a lot of business.
Right. So you've got this great model of running a business in LA, and you and your wife get pregnant. You have a kid.
Right.
It's like there's an opportunity to move home
Right.
and do this same thing.
Right.
And that's kind of what you did. That's what spurred that question is this is very much an, I'm going to say, Western LA infused restaurant.
Right.
However, it's definitely has its Texas theme to it.
Right.
And so, one, thanks for doing that. But
Hey, of course. we
tell me
love it.
about that transition and,
Yeah,
and how it's worked out so far.
It's been awesome. I mean, we we pitched on this RFP because we knew a friend called randomly. Carly's parents had a friend call, and he said, "Hey, you know that company that was going to do a restaurant in the old fire station fell out."
Yep.
And-
F&G.
F&G, right? And unfortunate name, but
Yeah, right.
But cool opportunity. We were going. Oh, it had to be hand delivered within a week of when we found out about it. And we're sitting around the table. Peyton's asleep, and we were like, "What is this place?" So we Google map it, and we look at it from above.
The firehouse.
The firehouse, and
Yeah.
we look at the grid, and we'd been doing events where we would pop up and do satellite kitchens. We'd been doing outdoor movie events. We'd been doing, these sort of Coachella-inspired events, all of this stuff. And we looked at all of that, and we said, man, for the city of Grand Prairie, they don't need a white tablecloth. They don't need a restaurant. They need an
Right.
experience. They need a place that's immersive, where you're there all day. You're coming back at night. It's always available, right? If
Yeah.
you want to change a main street, which is the goal, right? Revitalize this main street.
Yeah.
So we said, all right, we want to be able to have music and movies outside. Cool. That means a green space. You want to be able to have food out there. Well, that means a satellite kitchen. That means maybe 2 styles of food coming from 2 different areas. We'd just come back from Europe, and we'd seen these shipping container yards and in London, strangely enough, where you could get amazing food out of the back of a shipping container or out of the side of a shipping container. And we thought, wow, that'd be cool. Let's put that into this idea. And originally, we thought maybe food trucks would come onto property because the food truck scene was still really thriving. But as we were in construction, we started to see that started to wane a little bit, and people and the food truck park started to go bye-bye. So we knew we wanted to have our own food inside, and our collaborator, Chef Z, wanted to do chicken.
She's great.
Right? She was like, I want to do chicken. So where do we do that, and how do we do that? So then the Mama's Medicine component, we took a nod from our favorite coffee shops and our favorite event spaces in LA for the interiors. So the interior became a rehab of that big open space. Punch in a skylight, put a green space inside, whitewash the entire
skylight
space.
Was a great idea.
Right. So thank you, man. There was a fight there.
I know.
It was, and then local boy, Joey built some barn doors for us that are the perfect sort of hipster, pattern.
Our Joey
Gomez built those big,
I didn't know that.
Those big doors. Yeah, he built those big wooden doors that open into a coffee shop that's very boutique and chic and kind of, looks like.
Oh, very impressive.
Something like Alfred Coffee in LA. So inspired by a bunch of people, also our own taste, our own best experiences that we had as consumers, all went into everything. And there's certainly things that do get value engineered. There's things that just went bye-bye.
Yeah.
And some of them are better now. Some of them we'll do later. But we couldn't be more proud of it. We couldn't be more excited to be part of the community. All the philanthropic stuff that happens there.
Yeah.
We're just providing a space. Other people are driving amazing stuff,
I do have a fear that that place would be very successful as only an event space.
Right.
But that means y'all are out of business.
Right.
So I think most don't want just an event space. We want the restaurant, even if it requires sacrifice. My thought is somehow that's going to remain a restaurant.
Yeah.
But you've proved that the event can completely transform that place and provide high quality entertainment both ways.
Yeah, it would, like, if it didn't matter for Main Street to have food and bev and be a thriving sort of Main Street,
right.
And there's a world where sure that would be a great event space, but there can still be a great event space down the way, and I think even now,
and for the right dollar amount, you can always shut it down, right, for an event space.
We've done that, right?
Yeah.
There's even what we're talking about now is we've moved that outdoor kitchen inside just for,
I noticed.
To solve really a service issue. If you ordered a burger and someone ordered a chicken, and burger's coming from there and chicken's coming from there, well, aligning the ticket and getting it to your table at the same time. And even if people are willing to stand in line, but if you get your burger, 5 minutes feels like 2 hours.
Yep.
And I'm eating my chicken sandwich. So
right in front of you.
So we're sending everything out together, expoing everything together, and then I think it becomes a great opportunity for an incubator for somebody to do something in that shipping container. If somebody wants to come do popsicles or ice cream or cupcakes or something we don't have.
Anything. Yeah.
Now we are going to do.
I like the idea of a bakery type.
Yeah, and you heard it here first. We are working on a micro brew there,
okay.
And then doing 5 or 6 tap beers from a parent company brewery. So we would give Grand Prairie their first taste of a brewery experience on Main Street. So when we run out of that brew, we run out. But when microbrew enough,
I would tell you that I almost guarantee you'd be extremely successful in that. I mean, I think that is highly desired right now. And I think there are other people wanting to do that same thing. Yeah. And so go for it.
Right. Get after it.
I don't think you'll fail in that aspect.
Texans love their beer, man. I mean, everybody does. I mean, I guess this is just a.
What about? Are you going to be having a weed shop there?
We do now. Yeah, we do.
You know, I've bought stock in a couple of weed companies, marijuana-esque, whatever you want to call it. And Chief Dede, now he's not our chief, but I call him chief. But he was the head of the Police Chiefs Association of Texas and went down to Austin to fight legislation against legalization. And again, I don't care whether you're for or against it. But it was funny that I would tell him, you know, as a leader, I would tell him, hey, you know, what's your views on this? Or we interviewed the police chiefs. We'd bring it up and just kind of hear them they know I'm the councilman.
Yeah.
Again, sorry, that's not the intention of the show, but to kind of hear them as police officers who are the leaders of the police force explain to me that it's just kind of getting a kick out of that.
Yeah.
I do it just for the fun.
No, yeah. And it's interesting. Like I look at the behavior of people. I don't know that society's changed much in Los Angeles since legalization. I don't see any difference. People were doing it illegally.
Sure.
I mean, there were cottage industry people that were dropping off brownies at clients' houses all day long illegally, and they made, you know, close to 6 figures a year.
Wow.
It's just like gambling. You know, there's bookies doing it, but I don't know, man.
Our police chief has a great response to that.
I actually would love to hear that.
And what it is he goes, look, I'm not busting a kid with a joint. Just not happening. He said, but what happens is we smell marijuana in the car, so it gives us a reason to search the car. Then we find bags of cocaine, a gun, and scales, and we bust a drug dealer. Okay?
Interesting.
He says...
It's the probable cause conduit for...
Right. It's a probable cause conduit. And I've not yet defined my approach to that because I'm pro pot, however you want to put it. But I like the idea of, let's say I'm a regular pot user.
Right.
I think I'm an upstanding guy, more or less. I got to go to some shady drug dealer's house, like go in there all uncomfortable, and he's like, "Hey, bro, what's up?" Doing all this stuff, whatever. Of course, he's probably got guns or other drugs in there.
Right, and who knows what he's on? And
there was years ago when I had to do that, right?
Right.
And I'm like, that's one of the reasons to not do it. Period. So if it was legal, like they do in many other states, you just go to a well-regulated shop.
Right.
Anyway, so I haven't decided where I feel about. I like the idea of busting a guy with guns and hard drugs and so forth, but it should be interesting. And I say I invest in the stocks because I feel it's all coming.
Oh yeah, it's coming. I mean, I just wonder what I wonder how it all balances. Like that makes sense. I wonder how it all balances, like money wise, with prevention of specifically marijuana, if it gets lumped in everything. Prevention, incident. Versus taxable dollars, responsible use, the chemicals that are in the crap that you're buying on the street versus something that's regulated and scientifically broken down. And I don't look.
That's why I think that trend's coming.
Yeah.
I think all you're talking about there is starting to happen.
Yeah.
Within those states. Within those places it is legal, you're starting to get statistics out of that.
And I'll tell you, look, if I put CBD oil on me or drink some of it, I feel high.
Really?
And if I smoke or eat something, I am a worthless sack of you-know-what the next day. I mean, I can't put together a sentence. I am not good for that. That's not my thing, man. Like, I'm not, I can't. I've had one amazing experience. I'll tell the story when Carly and I are here together because it was an amazing experience on marijuana. Every other experience has just been blah or negative or like just kind of wasted.
I also think that's one of the reasons it's not legal is it treats everybody different. Yeah. Everybody has a different.
And I don't think you should be able to drive on it. How do you monitor that?
They're doing that in Texas now. They've funded studies because Texas made like very specific diseases is treatable by CBD. Yeah. So that disease that list has grown. seizures, epilepsy,
Right.
so forth. Those are now treatable by CBD. Hey, that's cool. Our conversation went to pot legalization. But,
Absolutely.
it's a subject nowadays, man. I mean, it's definitely a talking matter, and there's nothing wrong with that.
What is that? I don't know what California, how they regulate, because if
Well, it's all legal there now. It's all recreational use, right?
but like yeah, right. But if I smoked a couple of joints, I shouldn't be on the road. How do you know? I guess it's just a field sobriety test.
yeah.
I don't know that you have any way to.
I have a couple arguments on that because, like the DWI stuff, it's
Yeah.
like, listen, if you're drinking, you shouldn't be driving.
Yeah.
But if I have a beer at dinner and I get pulled over and they give me a blow test, I'm likely to have alcohol in my breath and they're going to hit me up pretty hard.
Right.
Right? And it's like, something's not right there. And I keep thinking, what's wrong with that? But guess what? I did something to get pulled over.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Should I be driving? Yeah.
Should I even be driving? So
I got stopped one time at the where they post up, and it was after the Super Bowl,
yeah.
and then I was definitely shouldn't be driving, not drunk,
Yeah.
but I
Fair
was
enough.
probably on that line,
Yeah.
right, and they put me through a field sobriety, and I don't know where, just fear
Yeah.
made me have all this like adrenaline dump,
Yeah.
and where I felt like a superhuman out there,
Yeah.
and I was just like, it was like game day in myself walking out there. I was like, dude, you were gonna pass this thing. You're gonna punk this.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
What else you got?
I'm getting a hype, right? So I'm like doing the dance and doing everything, and then he said, and I was ignorant really to law because I wasn't a drink and drive guy. I'd gone over to our buddy's house after work. At the end of the Super Bowl, he opened like 3 beautiful bottles of wine because he was like a wine snooth. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm going to drink the $70 bottle of wine. I never get a $100 bottle of wine.
Ever.
So we drank some wine. We ate a bunch of food. And then I'm driving home later and I get this routine stop. So the, I passed all that stuff. And he goes, all right, well, we're going to breathalyze you. And I'm like, nah. You're going to have to take me downtown.
Yeah.
And then he goes, stop right here. And then he went, and I guess the idea that I was close enough, by the time they got me there.
Yeah. There's like a 2-hour window, by the way, where they won't do it. From the stop, and from the initial stop to 2 hours.
To the blood test or whatever.
They say they don't even, yeah.
So like he thought it would probably be low enough that he wouldn't get me or whatever.
Yeah.
And he came back and he told me to get the F out of there. And then I like drove home.
Okay,
and,
bye-bye.
Yeah, that was the last time I wine drank. And
So, kids, don't drink and drive.
don't drink and drive, guys.
Pot's illegal. Don't
Pot
smoke
is illegal
it.
here in Texas.
So,
But in California, smoke as much as you
Smoke
want
as
and
much-
drive everywhere fast.
Everywhere.
You can't drive fast. Maybe that's it. You have to drive slow because there's so much traffic.
yeah, that's why you get away with it.
You can get away with it.
That's
man.
that's how it's regulated.
Yeah, man.
Jason, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks, man. This has been great.
It's been a blast. Tell Carly how much fun it was. We'll get her on,
I will.
and then we'll get both of you on if you're cool enough. I mean,
You might just want to have her back twice.
that I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
Maybe I can push her away from you
Yeah.
and bring her in. Whoa.
If you end up
Hey.
DDTing my wife while
During
I'm
the
not
show?
here,
Boom!
Yeah. I don't know how you don't break someone's neck, a little kid's neck, when you're DDTing them.
It's fake wrestling, bro.
You guys are trained. I'm not.
All right, man.
Thanks,
See you
brother.
next time. Bye-bye.